I'm sure you have at least some idea of how much we have physically lost. A huge portion of the city is just gone. If it isn't the savior of Dazra. Well, one of them. It shouldn't take me long to install her work. I wish we had known about this research. Perhaps we could have benefited more from it. Pickpocket, stop! Focus!
That means both internal and external trade, here on Vieruunkai and also out among the stars, with select parties.
Perfect. I have no doubt Sahima's work is the key to stabilizing the morning device. Let's hope the calculations are right, and it doesn't vaporize us all. House Vetol owes us access codes for the city power grid. It's the only way to guarantee enough power to activate the device. Slowly but surely. It's a shame the houses aren't more forthcoming. The Reverend has returned, uploading Sahima's algorithm. And before I forget, I've been told to inform you that the Council has now granted you access to the armory in the keep. Seems they're pleased with your work. My part in this is finished for now. Seems like you still have work to do. Does nothing to make the loss any easier, but still. Well, then you are in luck. All systems green. I would say it's just about time. What should have been a cooperative effort turned contentious. Easy decisions became negotiations. I pray the Great Serpent will open Rasma's eyes. The morning device may be our one and only chance to reach Anasco and save Dazra. It is working! Steady! Your timing is excellent, in fact. I believe we are ready to proceed, and those left behind are struggling. Supplies are limited. There is so much work to be done, and we are all just so tired. Armiger, will you do us the honor? We will all be lucky to see the end of the year. We stand ready. Reverend, will you do us the honor? Yes, exactly. I am glad I am not the only one who can see that. All stations reporting. Or do you not see the depth of the crater before you? Serpent speed be with you, Harbinger. Only House Vetol remains. Ooh. Help me get what we need, and we will see what we can do for the Speaker. And for House Varun. I am no heretic, but to risk so much on a vision, it is a leap of faith I cannot condone. This is hardly the project I thought I would stake my reputation on. Progress is always welcome, but we are not done yet. And Hasmek, the new elder of House Dulkef, he has been distant, guarded. He claims to have vital information about an important component of the experiment, but has withheld it until now. Yes, depending on how much trouble you're getting into. It had been Anasco's primary goal for some time. A way to recreate Jinan Varun's encounter with the Great Serpent. Did Victor finally relinquish the access code? Do not ever attempt that again. Stop this nonsense! Someone is being attacked! And I may have something that can help you in whatever trials the Serpent puts before you as we navigate this. There has been an attack! Guards! One cannot help but notice the energy field around the Scaled Citadel. Until we can get through it, we cannot shut down the experiment inside, and it has proved quite impossible to get through. We need the House Elders to see beyond their pride. I am starting to feel just a little optimistic about all this. The interlock won't aid in completing the morning device, but at least we may still benefit in some way. The first convert in generations. The only one to have heard from the Speaker since the disaster. Oh, I think they will listen. Without access to the power grid, the morning device is useless. Give it back, or I call the guards. Steady! Were you able to find Sahima? Well, then allow me to provide you with a few starting samples. Yes, Serpent speed be with you, Diviner. Serpent speed be with you, Armiger. Did he now? How magnanimous. What are you doing? To what do I owe the honor, Harbinger? I don't know about that. Some breakthroughs were made shortly thereafter, and they ran the experiment. And here we are. Great Serpent! Murder! At your order. The closer one ventures to the heart of the anomaly, the closer they are to the phantoms and horrors that lie within. If you're here, The council has likely sent word to the houses that it's time to stop the infighting. I doubt it will be enough. Guards! Guards! Plugging in the necessary variables. We need more power! All personnel to stations. Clear the platform. It is done. There won't be time to sufficiently test the device, but how much worse could it make things? You seem fine, and yet you say nothing. What? That makes no sense at all. It may be the message was garbled. Still, it seems like you were able to make contact. As much as I have devoted my life to science, one cannot deny that there is an occasional spark of the divine. The Great Serpent has use for this. And you, still to come. If this doesn't work, Serpent save us. Construction is nearing completion. Then we'll find out if it works. Inputting the access code. Adherent, will you do us the honor? You'd think they would have wanted to aid the situation from the beginning, but they remained self-absorbed as ever. What is going on? Good. You're back. Second, we have learned that killing the Phantoms sometimes causes an even greater disturbance. Horrors, as they have been colloquially termed, can appear from somewhere. We are unsure of their origin, but it is not within our universe. We are almost there. So I'm hoping you have the final key to unlocking the morning device's true potential. I am old and my eyesight is not what it used to be, but I know the face of success when I see it. Vindicator, speak to my sister. Oh, no! This is hardly the time to be turning down additional options. I am simply providing you with the information. If you choose to ignore it, so be it. Agreed. And with this settled, we can now continue the work of aligning the noble houses. Everything we knew about grav drive technology, every scientific advancement we'd made in the last 100 years was poured into it. I don't disagree. But allow me to impart some advice. Most would consider that disloyal, possibly even heresy. Keep that kind of talk to yourself. Don't just stand there, activate it! But I suppose it is better than the alternative. And you believe the diviner is this anchor? If you can't get the elders to cooperate, they may doom us all for the last time. Faith will not remove the barrier. Science will. It falls on House Kadik to provide their final piece to this puzzle. Ready to proceed with targeting. Help! Pickpocket! Agree to her fool's errand so that we may continue the work of saving this city. Serpent speed be with you, adherent. With all due respect to your craft, dear sister, now is not the time for incense and ash leaves. And you believe the adherent is this anchor. And, depending on how you combine said materials, you may find the results to be somewhat variable. I hope you can use that to your advantage. Well, look who it is. Testing without full power is extremely limiting. One house down, 2 to go. Progress. Just look around. Diviner, speak to my sister. Leave me. I suppose I should. 1 house aligned, and 2 to go. We do not need it for the device, but if this accounts for some of the leaps in progress in the Citadel, you may wish to hold on to it. Reverend, speak to my sister. Help! Towards the end. I was just so exhausted. I asked for a brief time off. Had I not, I would be trapped in there with the rest of the science team. You have made quite a stir, and given the state of things, that is a singular accomplishment. The Harbinger has returned. It is unfortunate. Anasco's research team rejected Sahima's theories. To what do I owe the honor, diviner? This leaves House Dulkef. And you believe the Armiger is this anchor? The Armiger has returned. Let's hope the houses can come together to complete this vital task. It's time. On your mark. It sounds like you agree with me. I will not stand in your way, however, as Inaza has stood in ours.
Personally, I'm coordinating trade and delivery with locations outside the city. What's left of the city, I mean.
Somebody help me! Each of those houses needs to contribute something to the project, so the council is the final stopgap. I pray Rasma and Victor are more forthcoming. We had the beginnings of a plan to build a makeshift contraption to redirect grav drive energy to see if we could penetrate the barrier, but the project came to a halt. Politics got in the way. Now, let's hope House Kadik is as forthcoming as the others. The things they expect me to accomplish. Great Serpent guide you in your endeavors. This leaves houses Dulkef and Vethol. Sahima's research is essential. Without it, we risk a second catastrophe. If it still runs, that would explain everything we have experienced since the initial incident. Together, we will find a way to complete the morning device. And you believe the Vindicator is this anchor? Well, well. Progress, at last. Then your arrival is even more momentous than I'd believed. Creating the necessary connections, one house aligned, and two to go. Guards! A pickpocket! And you believe the Harbinger is this anchor? It's working! To what do I owe the honor, Reverend? Now that we have access to full power, we've been able to run proper tests. I think it's foolishness, but not nearly as foolish as trying to convince her of this fact. Power grid access has made all the difference. To think Victor would have denied something so essential. And you believe the Reverend is this anchor. You've returned, hopefully with a vital piece of this puzzle. Sahima's research and algorithm have proven to be even more vital than I estimated. And so, construction never began. We have sat here, staring at this disaster as supplies pile up for well over a week now. Serpent help us, it is infuriating. Indeed. All must serve. Excellent. We'll finally have the resources to fully charge the morning device. Next time I call the guards. And they are not kind to thieves. Lately, we have all needed to be comfortable with doing things outside our usual responsibilities. You are one of us now, and are no different. All must serve. Remember, House Kadik was supposed to provide a young scientist named Sahima to help me. She had at least some experience with the original Citadel experiment. No idea why they refused to send her. Help! Thief! Elder Hasmek hasn't revealed what he may be hiding, but it may prove vital to our task. Harbinger, will you do us the honor? Return that this instant! I pray Rasma and Hasmek are more forthcoming. Theoretically, yes. The science is sound, especially with Sahima's numbers. The power grid access is the last thing we need.
Well, the Ministry at large is responsible for making sure everyone has what they need.
And before you label me a heretic, it's not the power of the divine or the breadth of his influence that I question, as you say. But, to the matter at hand, did Anasco mention anything that could aid us in his extraction? Clear! I have heard of such a thing. Recently, in fact, just before the accident. That is apparently not a coincidence. We're finally getting close. Hasmek will be forthcoming. I am certain of it. We've been making several adjustments since we gained access to the power grid. This leaves House Vethol. We'll review the data, see whether we can make improvements. Not that I expect to ever fire that again. Now, let's hope Houses Kadik and Dulkef are as forthcoming. Enough with the proselytizing. But this is all purely theoretical. No one has ever entered the vortex and come back. Interesting. Perhaps if two beings were to occupy the same vortex, however briefly, a channel between them is established. Were the speaker here, he could bypass all of it with a wave of his hand, but, well, you have already seen the state he's in. Whatever Anasco did inside the Citadel remains unchecked, and we are all at risk until we can get inside. Only House Kadik remains. And while my readings do not show any anomalous activity, I admit there's a lot of interference. Only House Kadik and House Vatal remain. Politics and expedience rarely pair well. Jinan's bread! Still, that only emphasizes the potential danger involved here. I cannot approve of such an excursion on a minute chance Anasco is present. You are not walking away with that. Now we await the assistance of Houses Vatal and Kadik. Let us hope we do not wait long. While they have no use in the development of the morning device, If you find yourself out in the field, I believe they could have more practical applications. One house aligned, and two to go. Your lead from House Kef paid off. Now that our calculations have been fine-tuned, I am even more confident in our chances of success. I pray the interlock proves useful once inside the scaled citadel. These phantoms, the vortex. Fascinating subject, really. If only there were some less disastrous way we could have discovered all this. It is time. No! What have you done? Of course. We agree on most things, actually. Save the one. To what do I owe the honor? Armiger. Enough! Shut it down! I know. I have lost friends and colleagues myself. Only House Kef remains. Fine. I feel like I've lived this argument 1,000 times, and the only way to move past it is to concede to its nonsense. I pray they are cooperative. There's no telling how much time we have. Now give me a moment to set up the grid. The work continues. As always. You claim he has forsaken us? Either way, we have no choice but to take the risk of failure, as small as it may be. Well done, all. Well done. These horrors and their spawn are infested with cysts, a seemingly organic manifestation of vortex energy. Just a few quick preparations. It's simply the manner in which he wields it that is a point of contention. My patience wears thin. I have never considered luck a real factor in anything. Given the state Dozra's in now, I would hardly call this lucky. I believe I've done enough complaining for now. Time to get to work. The device is coming together nicely. Very few adjustments to the original design. Not enough to have prevented it from happening. If I had any idea it was going to turn out like this, to what do I owe the honor? Adherent. Then we must continue our work on the morning device. But it is comforting to have confirmation. This never would have been possible without you. Now, we have a chance. Well, it would seem I owe you an apology, sister. Every one of the houses needs to contribute, and every one realized they could potentially use it for leverage. That was regrettable. Do not do that again. Diviner, will you do us the honor? Now, let's hope House Kef is as forthcoming as the others. I appreciate that someone around here is eager to get to work. My sister is stubborn, bordering on obstinate. Sadly, we have no choice but to yield to her request. Thief! We have encountered several interesting phenomena. First, while the phantoms shift to a fully human form when killed, they often retain small shards that appear to be an almost crystallized version of vortex energy. Slowly, but it will be much faster if you have the power grid access code. Seems that it would have been easier to just not have it happen in the first place, wouldn't you think? I did not, but it does not surprise me. So many projects over the decades. So many secrets. So few successes. Put that back, now! I will spare you much of the technical detail, as I confess that pieces of it I barely understand myself. Harbinger, speak to my sister. Roughly speaking, it could be that entering the vortex directly would allow you to speak with him. We have been nearly overwhelmed with all that has happened over the last few weeks, but I have still spent some time doing my own research, when I can. We have managed to collect enough to run experiments, and have devised a method of combining them into an explosive mixture with varying properties. I've said as much myself, but my sister persists. It may save us more time to inspect the cave than to continue these arguments. Vindicator, will you do us the honor? Only House Kadik and House Kef remain. You don't belong here. This is no place for an outsider. Hold! Hold! We cannot fail the speaker now! Good to see you. The Vindicator has returned. If House Fethal cooperates, we should have everything we need. I hope that eventually we can return things to the way they were, but we must be realistic. That will take time, and I suspect a great deal of it. Adherent, speak to my sister. Only House Fethal and House Kef remain. To what do I owe the honor? Vindicator, the adherent has returned. I need to oversee construction here, make sure things are built to specifications. If you could follow up with the houses, that may speed up the process. The process is simple enough that any industrial workstation should suffice, if you have the materials. Now, the moment of truth. Quickly, now. Moreover, if this cave was cut open by the calamity itself, then it is an unnatural formation and highly unstable. If only the others had listened to her, we may not have lost so much of our great city. Serpent's speed be with you, Reverend. And if you've spoken to him once, it's not out of the realm of possibility you could do it again. What you are describing is a dream, nothing more. I would need time to attempt a scientific explanation for why or how this happened, but for now, let us assume my sister is correct. One more trial behind us, eh? It's good to see that the houses can actually cooperate. Yes, the pinnacle of the citadel was modified to house the equipment to create a gate to the vortex. Fire! Ha! Armiger, speak to my sister. I pray Victor and Hesmek will be as forthcoming. That went better than expected. This cannot be happening! What are you doing? Still, you were able to communicate with him. Should he appear again, perhaps that link remains. Enough of this! Give it back! Our fate lies in the morning device. It must be completed. The diviner has returned, but approval is approval, and I will gladly take it. Routing power. Good luck. Out of all the elders, Victor is perhaps the most stubborn. I do hope you are not questioning the thoroughness of my research. I assure you, they will work. Yes, I am sure that is how some would see it. Ah, yes. Hello there. Not in the way you and I speak, but in crude terms, yes, provided you manage to maintain your own sanity through the process. Serpent's speed be with you, Vindicator. On your mark. At the moment, obviously a great deal of nothing. Have the High Council to thank for that. I left the project weeks before the disaster, and at that point, we were nowhere near ready. The Council just so happens to represent the 3 houses under Varun's banner, who are also entrusted with various aspects of running, well, everything. We have done all we can. I am sure the Council is waiting to speak with you. Of course not.